Welcome to the Spokane Housing Authority Project-Based Voucher Program Briefing. Congratulations on starting your project-based voucher journey. If you need additional assistance, accommodations, or translation services, please contact your eligibility specialist. If you're not sure who should be watching the project-based voucher briefing, keep in mind the head of household is required to watch the entire video, and all household members over 18 are encouraged to watch the briefing. In this briefing, you will learn about SHA, the rights and responsibilities of SHA, landlords, and your households, how the project-based voucher program works, how rent is determined, other SHA programs, and resources available. Spokane Housing Authority was established by the City of Spokane in 1972. Over the years, we have grown to assist over 6,500 households through rental assistance. Though most assistance is through the voucher program, as of 2024, we manage 750 units of affordable housing in Spokane County. SHA's responsibility in administering the project-based voucher program include determining household eligibility, explaining the program to participants, qualify and inspect units, make payments to landlords, recertify participants, and ensure household and landlords follow program rules. Landlords' responsibilities include finding good renters. This can include running background, credit, and rental history on prospective tenants. They must also follow fair housing laws, make needed and appropriate repairs to their units, follow the housing assistance payment contract with SHA, collect your portion of rent, and enforce the lease you sign for their unit. Your household's responsibilities include obligations to provide SHA information as requested, such as proof of income, asset, and expenses. You must take care of the unit, such as keeping it clean and respecting the property, follow the landlord's lease, report changes to SHA such as income, job, and member changes, and your household must follow SHA's household obligations, rules, and regulations, which you've previously signed. This portion of the briefing will cover how the project-based voucher program works in 8 steps. Some steps were completed prior to contacting you when your name came up to the top of the waiting list. First, the property where the project-based unit is located was approved for project-based vouchers, and then vouchers were assigned to specific units. In step 2, SHA staff either scheduled or waived an inspection. Units with a waived inspection must meet certain criteria, such as being a brand new unit or previously inspected without issues. All units receiving rental subsidy must meet basic standards before assistance can be approved. An inspection ensures the unit meets HUD minimum requirements for a decent, safe, and sanitary unit. Some critical points for a unit to pass include all utilities work, the smoke and CO2 detectors work, and are installed according to local laws. Windows that can open must be able to lock. Outlets work and are grounded or CGFI protected. Plumbing and sinks do not have active leaks. And stoves and fridges must be in working condition. If a unit fails initial inspection, the landlord will be informed of the repairs required. A re-inspection will be scheduled once the landlord notifies SHA the repairs are complete. You're already familiar with Step 3, reaching the top of the PBV waiting list, and you're familiar with Step 4, having your household determined eligible for the property where the unit is located and eligibility for participation in the project-based voucher program. Step 5 is viewing the PBV briefing, where you learn about the project-based voucher program. Now let's get into some details. Subsidy standards for the project-based voucher program is currently 2 household members per bedroom. Unless you submitted and were approved for a reasonable accommodation, your bedroom size was based on the number of household members when you applied to the waiting list. For example, 2 people receive a 1-bedroom voucher, while 3 or 4 people receive a 2-bedroom voucher. Keep in mind, a living room can be used as a sleeping area, and SHA does not assign specific members to specific rooms. A live-in aid will be authorized a separate bedroom, and exceptions may be made through reasonable accommodations for disability needs. If your household needs a reasonable accommodation for an additional bedroom, complete the online request for an accommodation and list a third-party provider who can verify the need for the accommodation, how it relates to the individual's disability, and if the accommodation is necessary for full use and enjoyment of your unit. Now let's discuss payment standards and your rent portion. The payment standard is the maximum housing assistance payment, or HAP, a housing authority can pay on behalf of a household. Payment standards are based on the HUD published fair market rents for each county. Since this is a project-based voucher, SHA has already determined the unit fits within these limits. Utility allowances are used to determine the gross rent for a unit. SHA is required by HUD to establish utility allowance schedules based on the typical cost of utilities in the area. These are updated annually. 3 factors are considered in establishing utility allowance schedules: unit size or voucher size, whichever is less; structure type, type of energy used, such as electric, natural gas, or wood. Understanding gross rent will help ensure a unit works for your voucher budget. This is the unit's rent amount plus the utility allowance. HUD regulations specify the formula for calculating the total tenant payment, or TTP, for an assisted household. TTP for a project-based voucher is 30% of the family's monthly adjusted income. SHA figures your household's gross annual income before deductions. This amount is the total amount household members receive on a consistent basis, not excluded under regulations. Income includes, but is not limited to, TANF, ABD, SSI, child support, earnings from a job, unemployment, self-employment, retirement benefits and pensions, and any financial contributions received from others. These amounts are annualized before calculating the total. To figure your monthly adjusted income, allowable deductions are subtracted from your gross annual income. These deductions include a deduction for each dependent living in the household, a single deduction for households with an elderly or disabled household member, reasonable charges for child care costs when child care is necessary for an adult member to work, seek employment, or go to school, and unreimbursed medical expenses may be considered for elderly disabled households. After taking the gross annual income and subtracting the deductions, we have a total annual income. To get the monthly adjusted income, this new total is divided by 12 and multiplied by 30% for the TTP. Here is an example of the calculations of 30% of monthly adjusted income. This household has an annual adjusted income of $10,916. When divided by 12, the monthly adjusted income is $910. Then multiplying $910 by 30%, the total tenant payment equals $273, which will be the rent portion. In simplest terms, to calculate your portion of rent, your TTP equals your portion of rent. Now, moving on to step 6, which is when you can sign a lease, pay your deposit and your share of rent, and then move in. If you have already moved in, a new lease will need to be dated with the day the inspection passed or later. In step 7, each month you'll pay your portion of rent, and SHA will pay the remaining voucher portion to your landlord. Step 8 in the PBV program is to continue following your responsibilities. This includes paying your portion of rent each month, paying utilities, following the landlord's lease, reporting household member changes to SHA within 10 business days, completing regular certifications, and allowing inspections as scheduled or required. Remember, if you violate your obligations, you could lose your unit. For a full list of your obligations, refer to the applicant participant certification in your briefing packet. After your initial lease, or in certain situations, you may move to a new unit with your voucher by working with SHA. This includes portability to other locations within the United States and U.S. territories served by a housing authority. It's important to know that other housing authorities have different screening, payment standards, and occupancy standards, which may affect your household if you move outside SHA's jurisdiction. Many housing authorities have websites where you can find information on porting to their jurisdiction. Always notify SHA of your intentions to move. We will determine if you are eligible to transfer to the Housing Choice Voucher Program and issue an updated voucher. If you move before this is completed, you may lose your current unit and the ability to transfer to the Housing Choice Voucher Program. An important message for everyone is about Violence Against Women Act, or VAWA. VAWA provides protections to any victim of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking. A VAWA packet is included in your briefing packet. Please visit SHA's office or contact your eligibility specialist if you would like to report and submit VAWA. This can be done if any household member is experiencing domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking. Households can also report and submit VAWA if they are being terminated from rental assistance and feel the grounds for termination are a direct result of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking. Within the voucher program, SHA manages other programs with additional roles. Family unification assists families in obtaining stable housing to regain custody of children who are involved with DCYF and youth 18 to 24 years of age who have left foster care at age 16 or older or will leave foster care within 90 days and are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. FUP is not eligible for portability. Family Self-Sufficiency, or FSS, is designed to help voucher participants increase their earnings and build savings to make progress towards economic self-sufficiency. FSS is a 5-year voluntary program open to active SHA participants. Those with FSS receive personalized case management to meet their personal goals. Please reach out to SHA if you're interested in FSS. Home ownership is a HUD program allowing first-time homebuyers to use their voucher subsidy towards the purchase of a home. Participation is limited, and the home ownership program has a separate waiting list. The VASH program provides vouchers for homeless veterans referred by the Department of Veterans Affairs Medical Center. Participants must be in compliance with Veterans Administration requirements in order to retain their voucher. Portability with VASH is limited to jurisdictions covered by the Veterans Administration. If you need more information, rewatch this video, review your briefing packet, and visit SpokaneHousing.org/library for documents, information, and forms. You may also contact your eligibility specialist through my portal, email, or phone for specific questions or to schedule an appointment. For general questions and information, contact customer service through email at customerservice@SpokaneHousing.org, through the virtual lobby at SpokaneHousing.org, in person during walk-in hours, or call 509-328-2953. This concludes your PBV briefing. You can now sign additional SHA forms, your new lease, pay your deposit and your first month's rent, and move into your unit. Thank you for your attention and welcome to your new home.